Whenever I shake hands with folks afterwards, they whisper to me, they say, Barack, I'm a Republican, but I support you. And I say, thank you. Why are we whispering?
Welcome back to Harbaugh. Barack Obama frequently touts his support among crossover Republicans. Let's turn to two longtime Republicans who are now openly supporting Obama. Susan Eisenhower, there's a famous name. She's the granddaughter of Ike, Dwight Eisenhower, the man who received the Nazi surrender and led this country for 8 years. And she's with the Eisenhower Institute. And former Republican U.S. Senator Lincoln Chafee of Rhode Island from Rhodey. He's an independent now. I want to start with Susan. What a famous name you have, Eisenhower's. I remember Democrats for Ike in 52 on my maternity BVM bus going to school. The Catholics started to move Republican in those days for Ike. Why are you a Republican backing a Democrat, Barack Obama?
Well, I think he's the best candidate of the ones that are still remaining in the race. I think he's a terrific guy. And most of all, I think he represents the future.
Okay, let me go to Senator Chafee. Why are you openly now endorsing a Democrat for president?
Well, the war is a big issue for me, and I was there, of course, for the vote on the war against Iraq. And it was built on such false premises, and we needed leadership at that time, and both Senator Clinton and Senator McCain just didn't step up and use the good judgment to shift through what was presented, which turned out to be false evidence that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. So for me, that's the major issue in this decision.
What are you going to do, Senator, if Obama doesn't quite make it and Hillary Clinton wins? Would you vote for McCain over Hillary, or how would you decide that when they were both for the war? They both supported the vote.
That's a good question. I'd probably write somebody in, to be honest. It's such a big issue for me. The cost, now we're arguing about whether it's $2 trillion or $4 trillion, and almost 4,000 dead, and the countless numbers of veterans that are going to come back needing care, both mental and physical. And so it's a big issue for me.
I want Susan, you've obviously supported your grandpop, Ike. And we had Kennedy, we had Reagan, we've had some great presidents. So we had Roosevelt in both parties, great presidents. Would Obama be a great president? How would he fit into that continuum?
I think he certainly has the potential. He has the potential to bring people together. I think he has inspired a whole generation of young people who were completely outside of the political scene, and he's already mobilized historic numbers of that age group, and the issues that we're facing are all future issues. These are going to have direct impact on that generation.
Would your grandfather have been as up-to-date as you are on the ethnic issue of a black president, or is that a generational thing that you are new to, as most of us are? Not new to it, but we grew up in an era where black rights were a reality, and black aspirations were not only legitimate but appropriate, including the highest office.
Well, this is a great country. I think the time has come. We're prepared to look at Barack Obama as a human being, as an American first, before he's a Democrat or an African American. He's also half white. He is, in a sense, all of us. Yeah. And I think it offers a real opportunity. There's a lot of mixed race people
in this country.
Yes, indeed.
It's a common experience, I think. But you're right, he exemplifies it. Let me go to Senator Chafee. Are you taking heat from your Republican supporters for crossing the aisle, so to speak, all the way to Democrat, not just to independent now?
I argue back at them that I'm still a conservative, and I think some of the issues that I care about, whether it's personal liberties as outlined in the Constitution, particularly in the Bill of Rights, that's a conservative issue. Balanced budgets, for me, that's a conservative issue. And the environment, I think it makes sense from a conservative point of view to take care of our water and our air, and of course foreign entanglements. How do we get in this expensive foreign entanglement? That's a conservative issue. So I argue back with my Republicans. I'm still a true conservative. And now it's crossing, it's intersecting with a liberal candidate, Barack Obama.
If you're a true conservative, I'm a true conservative, because I agree with you about the war, and I wonder how we did get involved in this mess. What do you make of Dick Cheney, the vice president, the other day, asked by Martha Raddatz about the fact that the American people overwhelmingly think the war was a mistake, and he said, his answer was, so?
Well, that is Vice President Cheney. He's one of the most arrogant people I've ever come across. And from the very first time I met him, at a breakfast right after the Supreme Court endorsed him, the Supreme Court back in 2000, December of 2000, we had a lunch with him. The moderate Republicans had a lunch with him. Excuse me, it was a lunch. And right then, he was a very, very arrogant man. And that was, again, manifested in that interview.
Well, he didn't have to run for office like other people do. That's one way. He doesn't have to deal with anybody politically except the president. Let me ask you about the troubling question of Reverend Jeremiah Wright. When you heard those extracts from beginning with ABC and Fox and all began to play them last week, then we played them, what did you make of them when you saw that Reverend Wright railing against America, railing against whites, if you will?
I think we have to be very careful about guilt by association. I can tell you this, Barack Obama is the only Democrat who's going to be able to appeal to moderate Republicans and have any hope of bringing moderate Republicans to the Democratic side in November. I think that Hillary Clinton will actually energize the Republican Party and solidify the unity of the party in November.
So you think, as a supporter of Barack Obama, he's a better bet to win than Hillary Clinton?
Oh, by far.
Senator Chafee, is that your assessment, just on pure political grounds? Do you think Rhode Island's a hard reach for any Republican or any, but do you think the Democrats would do as well with a Barack as they would with a Hillary?
I think the key is, and Susan alluded to it earlier, is the young people. And what Senator Obama has done with the young people, just energized them. Right now I'm working at Brown University, and the whole campus is so energized about the Obama candidacy. And we see that across the country. It'd be such a shame to kick the young vote in the shin, so to speak. They're very energized. They care about politics. It's something very unique, as we know, the past decade or so, the young people being so involved. And so I think that's a very important dynamic here. And I don't know where they'll go if Senator Clinton gets the nomination.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Professor. Professor Chafee at Brown University. Anyway, thank you. Congratulations on doing that for a great university. My son went there. Susan,
university.
Thank you. I always loved Susan Eisenhower. A great tradition, a great public official right before us here. Maybe you'll be working as Secretary of whatever for this guy.